Hello everyone, I'm Reed, and this is my digital clock. I kind of want to show you what it is and how it works and how I made it and why. So let me get in with the functionality first. So there's a couple, there's 4 panels here, and all 4 of them are identical. They're just populated different, but in terms of the PCB fab, they're the same, which cuts down cost. And on the back of the unit, there's 2 buttons. On the first unit, there's a couple ICs, a battery to keep the time, USB, micro USB to charge to power the LEDs. There's also a JTAG port. Now this is actually, it's not JTAG, it's actually an in-circuit serial programmer for the ATtiny. This is a DS3213 clock, and these are 2 buttons. So what happens when you press the buttons? If I press the top one, press it and hold it, it takes you into the time programming mode. So with one button I can go and select the digit. So let's say so it's in 24-hour mode, by the way, right now. And I can go through and select digits. And when I'm done, I can press a button to save it. But since it's already set, I'm just going to unplug it and plug it in to cancel the change time. And if I press and hold the other button, these 2 middle ones go red, and I can hold that button and change the brightness. So this is about max brightness, and then it just rolls over. But let's just keep it there. And I can get out of it and back to normal time mode where this will blink. Then if we just look at one of these panels, let's move this to the side. Here's one of them. You can see that JLC PCB decided to put the nice text on the front. I do know that if you tell them to put there's a certain word, if you put it twice, they'll put it right where you want them to put that text. But for me, they just have to put it in the front. If I slide this one out, you can see a couple of things down here. I'm actually going to take this apart. So there's 3 screws per panel. Here's the back side. You can see there's some spots where the text on the fiberglass shows up. Here's my spacer panel. You can see I have slots for all the LEDs, and I also have slots for other components. Like these 2 holes here are where the battery gets soldered, so we need some clearance there. This hole here is for that JTAG port, or the in-serial programmer, and here is for the input and output of each digit and buttons. So you need clearance for these items so that if they're populated, the solder joint doesn't hit this. Then here's the panel with LEDs. So this one's just populated to what it needs to be, which is just the 7 segments of 3 LEDs, which is 21 LEDs per panel. The first one has a lot more populated than the rest of them, and this one has 2 extra LEDs populated. And for each of the panels, I have a little jumper on the back to jump out these 2 colons. And I only did that because I wanted to save on the amount of LEDs and not put extra LEDs in that I didn't need. I could populate everything on every panel and only use the ones I want, but this is more cost effective. So this is kind of revision 2. Revision 1 started like this, and you can see here this is a homemade etched PCB. It's a little bit on the big side for etching. When you're etching stuff, it's kind of sometimes tough to line up your layers and have it etched nicely across a big bright surface. On the back here, I just have a mixed match of PCBs I had at home. I completely made this project without ordering a single part for this, or I just used what I had on hand, and that includes some little boards that like this board had a micro USB port, so I grabbed that and just used it to jump over power. This board had the footprint for my microprocessor, and this board is the clock. So I just grabbed boards that worked out and used them, even though they weren't intended for this purpose. I'll plug in this one. With this clock, I put these sheets of laminate over it, and these white sheets came from an old LCD monitor, which I hacked apart and laminated all together. And this helps diffuse the LEDs. I'll show you what it looks like undiffused. It's a lot of the small dots. But I thought this diffuser was good. It's not as good as the PCBs, though, in my opinion. I'll plug in the last one so you can see the difference. And brightness difference between all the different colors. One thing to note is that some of these colors that are more on the red side come out as white. And you can kind of see a color difference between this as it goes on down. Well, that's it. Thank you.